Hi everyone, welcome back for another whiskey review. Today I'm going to look at this single cask release from the old Malt Cask. Now, these guys are an independent bottler. They release a single cask of whiskey at a time, and this one in particular is from a sherry butt, a 500 litre barrel, an ex-sherry butt, and a release of 684 bottles. Now, one thing I found always a bit intriguing, interesting, and even sometimes a bit concerning how all of these guys' independently bottled releases are at 50% ABV specifically. Everything is 50%, which I find, because I'm exposed to so much from different independent bottlers, I find it intriguing why 50% in particular, because if it was a commercial official bottled release, for example, if it's a Lafroig, they're going to do it at 40 or 43 or 46%. But to bring it down to 50 specifically, even something as old as this, which is, I would guess, after the long 23-year maturation, would have been at very close to 50 anyway, maybe closer to 55%, somewhere between 50 and 55. But then to water it down to 50%, I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do, or the one thing it does is it keeps the consumers without guessing what ABV they're going to do their next single cask at. It's always at, as you would have guessed, 50%. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Blair Athol. In particular, Blair Athols that have been sherry cask matured. I've been to the Blair Athol Distillery over in Scotland, and which is also the home to Bell's blended whiskey, because Blair Athol is one of the core malts that go into the Bell's blend. And unfortunately, when I visited, which was towards the tail end of the Scottish winter in March of 2018, the distillery was actually silent. They were having some work done on the stills, so I could not see any of the spirit coming, but I did have a good tour. This gentleman, whose name I've forgotten unfortunately, he gave me a great tour, but also part of it was we did a couple of tastings in their manager's office or something like that. But overall, a very interesting visit. So let's see what this Blair Athol 23-year-old is like on the nose first. Now, for those of you who have been watching the content for a little while, might have already noticed that I'm back in a whiskey room of some sorts. So last week we moved out of our house, and now we have moved in for what will be probably 1 year with my parents, and they have graciously donated this office, and it's much bigger, it goes that way as well, this office to me, and allowed me to turn it into a whiskey room, which is so good for me, because since first week of December I haven't had a whiskey room. I've had a whiskey garage, but I haven't had a whiskey room where I can just sit down, relax, talk to my bottles, and be amongst it, which feels really, really good. Right, back to the whiskey. 23-year-old Blair Athol. Now, we don't really see, especially in New Zealand, too much of the Blair Athol commercial releases. In the past, I've seen maybe a 10 or a 12-year-old 40% ABV release, but other than that, not much of the official bottled Blair Athol single malt makes its way to New Zealand, which is a bit of a shame, because it is one of Diageo's classic malts, I believe, or is part of the main stable of single malts Diageo does. And we get the other ones here, obviously Talisker, Dalwhinnie, Orban, and any number of the other classic malts. And I would really like to see a little bit more of the Blair Athol, but till then, we have to make do with the single cask 23-year-olds. What a tough life. On the nose, there is spice, cinnamon, followed by just a bit of pepper, and an underlying sweetness of honey. The spice is quite evident. It's interesting, I'm not finding much of that raisiny sweetness that I have found in this particular dram in the past. But overall, it's just nice. This is a kind of I've had a long day and I would just like to slow the process right down and know something for a very long time. Just gorgeous. That spice is just absolutely mesmerizing. All right, well, I guess it's time to find out what's it like on the spice, loads of it. One thing I want to point out, this bottle has been open for a good part of a year and a half, longer, and I've been nursing it to here. I actually have one more full bottle which I'm keeping because in the last year and a half I haven't seen much more single cask Blair Athols come to New Zealand, so trying to make this last. But the spice, going back to the spice, it's there. It's gorgeous. I wouldn't say it's a spice bomb, but it's a lot more on the spicy side compared to other sherried whiskies for a long time I've had. There's oak present and very little sweetness for now, but let's see if it will release a little bit more of its sweetness. Just a little bit more sweetness. It's quite dry, which I like, nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit on the dry side. I'm just going to add just a tiny bit of water and see if that will on the nose calm the spice down and on the palate let a little bit more of the sweetness come through. Straight away, loads more honey, that heathery sweetness. Maybe just a little bit more buttery on the nose, creamy. And let that be a perfect example of a situation where water could help open the whiskey up, and it's beautifully opened this one up. 50% is still quite high in ABV. It's been in a barrel for a very long time. So just a little bit of water has calmed the spicy nature of the whiskey right down, and it's let a lot more of the sweeter character to come on the nose. Wow. Bit more of that hint of tropical fruits is coming on the nose, and the spice has completely died. Gorgeous. On the palate too, lot less spice. It's a hint there, but more of that honey, rock melon character is there, and the spice is lingering on the back of the palate. And I fear it might not have been actually from this sip, it was from the one before, still lingering. So in terms of finish, I would say super long, loads of spice and loads of oak. Wow. How to make it last. I mean, that's what, 100 mils left in it, plus one full bottle, which is not a good situation. So hopefully the powers to be will let just a little bit more of or a particular single cask Blair Athol sneak into the country, because I'm running low. Well, that's all I've got to say about that particular whiskey. If you are liking the content, please like, share and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the very near future for another whiskey review. See you later.